So we have a lot to cover in lesson 3, and that is why you are given 2 weeks. Do not wait until Monday, the 27th, to try to get all this done, because I guarantee you won't get it done. It's going to take you more than one sitting. We are covering how to do photo editing, okay, how to insert the pictures into your pages, and how to do hyperlinks. So these are 3 huge topics. That's why you're given 2 weeks. So you're going to want to read the pages in your book, and then the lecture demo itself, I split into the 3 areas, the 3 big areas that we are covering. So you'll start with image formats and editing, which is pretty lengthy. You have to understand what the image formats are that you're going to be dealing with, and different features that you may find in those images, like interlaced or non-interlaced, like transparency or animation. Okay, so we go through and explain these different file types that you're going to find for images and when you should use them. We also talk a little bit about SVG graphics, scalar vector graphics. This is a newer feature. We don't cover it in this class because you need to know XML, and you guys aren't learning that until CIT 190. However, XML is not difficult to learn. I did include a link to a little tutorial on XML and a link to SVG graphics for those of you that wanted to get a little head start on that. There is a free program that you can use that will create SVG graphics, so I've given you a link to that as well. Then we get into how to prepare the graphics for the web, and the 3 areas of photo editing that we are going to discuss are resampling, which basically changes the pixels per inch, and the pixel is basically what is giving you your picture. Okay, see these little squares in this example? Those are pixels. And if you zoom in enough, you can see them. But if you go to 100%, they should not be visible. So resampling changes the number of pixels that are in a square inch. So obviously, the more pixels you have in a square inch, the better the quality of the picture. And then we also get into cropping, which basically allows you to select a portion of a graphic that you want to keep, and then you can discard the rest. And finally, we get into color adjustments. You may want to adjust color for many different reasons. One could be that you have a color theme at your site and you want to stay consistent. Another could be that the graphic is discolored, you want to fix it. Or you may want to adjust the saturation level or the transparency of the graphic because you're going to put it in the background and you want text on top. So lots of different reasons for adjusting the photo. We are going to be using the Lunapic Editor, which is a free online editor. Photoshop is an awesome editor. It's actually my editor of choice, but it's expensive. A copycat editor that is free is called GIMP. GIMP is a lot like Photoshop, and it's free. So you could download and install that. This lecture demo covers how to use Lunapic. Lunapic is an online editor. You don't have to download anything, and it's free. Okay, so when we get into changing the graphic size and cropping and changing color, the directions here are for Lunapic. Okay, and if you are familiar with Photoshop, or if you know GIMP and you want to use that, I don't have a problem with that if you know what you're doing. Okay. But if you're not sure of how to complete these tasks, then you should use Lunapic because that's what the directions are written for. Okay. And where you're going to be applying this is in the textbook assignment. So this is teaching you how to do it, and the textbook assignment is going to have you actually go through and do it. Okay. So that is the first part. The second part here, HTML for images, is fairly short because we're dealing with the image tag. And then the required attributes are source and alt. So source is the name of the file. And if you have the file in a folder, you're going to put the name of the folder. And alt is for alternate text. And so this is for screen readers. What you need to remember, what is so important, is that file names and folder names are case sensitive when they are online. So in a live site like this, they are case sensitive. Upper and lower case is different. That's the main problem people have in this class, is that they don't pay attention to upper and lower case, and then their graphics don't show up. There are some additional attributes that you can put into the image tag. The title attribute is like a tooltip. Quite often, people will put the height and width. If you want to use the actual height and width, you can actually find that by going into the File Explorer, adjusting your view to content, and then next to the image name, you will actually see the dimensions. You can also right-click on the graphic, go into Properties, and choose Details, because that will give you the dimensions. And then you take those dimensions, and the standard way of specifying width and height is by using CSS. So style, the style attribute is CSS, and then you just put in the width and the height. Now, what if the width is 400, but you don't want it to display 400, you want it to display 300? You can do that. I mean, you can change it to 300, but then I would leave the height off because the height will automatically adjust. And what you don't want is to adjust the height and have it look like a funhouse picture, all distorted. The other way of specifying height and width is using height and width attributes. This is becoming outdated. I want you to be aware of this because you could see it on your certification exam. However, the standard, more accepted way, the preferred method is through CSS. But at this point in time, either one of these would work. Additional tags you may see with an image tag. These are newer semantic tags, would be figure and figure caption. So the figure tag is used to enclose images and diagrams and code snippets, that kind of thing. So there's an opening and a closing tag, and inside would be the image tag, or your code or whatever it is that you want to set off with the figure tag. If you are going to add a caption, the fig caption tag will also go inside figure. You'll either put fig caption above your image or below it, depending on where you want that text to display. Okay, then, once you're done with that, you're going to go through hyperlinks. But as I mentioned, this is a lot to digest. I would do the image stuff in one sitting and hyperlink in a second sitting. So working with hyperlinks, we have internal and external links. Internal links are like bookmarks. They are from one location in your page to another. And external links can be to your own pages or to someone else's pages. If you are linking to your own page, you're going to create something called a relative link. If you are linking to someone else's page, you are going to use what's called an absolute link. So in this lecture demo, we go through how to do internal links first, and then we talk about external links. And if you're going to do external links, quite often they are navigation links within your own site. And so you can use a method called storyboarding to figure out how you want the pages to connect to each other. You should be aware that when search engines find your page, they do not start at the top of the hierarchy. Whatever page they may happen to find. So if they find a page here in the middle, they will include that page in their database without any reference to the start of the site. So you should keep that in mind when you are designing your site. Okay, but these are different structures for sites. And then we get into creating the external links. And then we talk about the difference between relative links and external absolute links. Okay, so when you're doing the relative links, you have to be aware of your file and folder structure, because relative links basically deal with I'm located, my current page is in folder A, and I want to navigate to a page that's in folder C. How do I do that? Okay. And so knowing where you're at is super important. So if I'm in lesson 3 and I want to navigate over to lesson 2, how do I do that? Okay. And there's a very specific way that you do that in a relative link. If you need to go up a level, which here you do, because you'd have to get out of lesson 3, you do a ... Okay. If you need to open a folder, it's the folder name and a slash. Okay. The only thing you don't really put a slash after is the name of the page. Okay. So I do have a question here. If you click, you can see the answer. But I do want you to read through this. It's super important that you read through this and understand it, because you guys are going to be creating relative links. That is, in this next assignment, you'll be doing both relative and absolute links. But in this course, most of the links that you're going to create are going to be relative links. So it's super important that you understand it. Absolute paths, absolute links, they basically include the entire URL. So this whole thing. This is when you link to somebody else's site. You can also use it to link to other media. So you can link to news groups, you can link to PowerPoint files, you can link to text files, WordPress sites. Okay, so these are examples of different places that you can link. And these links actually work if you want to kind of play around with that. Email links, this is something that you need to know for your certification exam. You need to know how to put together an email link. And you'll notice that it does not begin with, a relative path or an absolute path. It begins with mail to, a colon, and then the email address. Okay, there are questions on that on the test as well. The title attribute can be used in a link, just like it can be used in a graphic, and it works like a tooltip. And then finally, how do you use HTML comments? So I use them a lot in, I have pages set up for all of my classes, and I will comment out weeks that we haven't reached yet. So here's the beginning of the comment, and here's the end. And then as we cover material, I will take this beginning comment and move it down. Okay, so basically you can comment anything in your HTML. You can comment it out by putting this at the beginning, and then you end the comment by putting this in at the end. Okay, so make sure you read through all of this and that you understand it. That is why I have given you guys 2 weeks. And once you go through the lecture demo, then you're going to be ready for the assignments. So the textbook assignment is going to give you a lot of practice. You are going to be working with graphics, and you're also going to be working with links. So I'm giving you some images that you are going to be modifying. And you'll be doing some thumbnails. And then you're also going to be taking some of those images, some of those thumbnails, and converting those into links, because images can be, thumbnails can be links to larger pictures. So there are videos for all of these tasks. I encourage you guys to watch the videos because it will definitely help you. There are pages for you to download. There are graphics for you to download, and the directions are very specific as far as where you need to put those. And you need to put those in the proper folders, because if you look here, the code is assuming that you've got the graphic in the media folder. And you'll notice that it's using camel casing for capitalization, which means the second word is capitalized. The third word is capitalized. This is very standard in programming. And here, Marquette Park, the P in park is capitalized. So that is how I named the images. If you change the name, you are going to have to match your own name in capitalization. Then after you add those graphics, you're going to put the link in, and the graphic is going to be in the middle. Okay, so you're going to add graphics, you're going to be adding links. And then you're going to get additional practice adding pictures and links. You're going to download a Yosemite page. You're going to download a couple of graphics. And you'll create the page. And then, don't miss this, in the footer, you're going to add a footer that has a couple of links in it. Okay, so this is the page without the links, and then you have to add those in. Another page, you're going to be setting up internal links. So the page itself kind of looks like this. And the idea here is that this is going to be a link. And when you click on it, it's going to take you down here to the 1990s. Then at the bottom of the 1990s, this is going to be a link, an internal link, that when you click on it, it goes all the way back up to the top. So each one of these years should take you to that year. And then at the end of the year, there's a link that takes you back up to the top. Okay, so this page is for practicing internal links. Okay, and we get into how to add those. And then this is a summary of everything that you need to turn in. And again, I know this is a lot, but that is why you have 2 weeks. 2 weeks, if you get an early start and you run into problems, which I know quite a few of you will, because you'll go to view your page live online. Okay. When you view it offline, offline is very forgiving. Okay. Offline doesn't care about capitalization. Online does. When you view it online, some of your graphics may not show up. And that is usually a capitalization problem. Okay. But if you get this done in advance, you have plenty of time to, either figure it out or send me an email and have me look at it. If you want me to look at it, you have to transfer it to the web. Otherwise, I am not going to be able to really tell you what the problem is. Okay. Make sure you have it on the web so I can go actually look at it and look at your code, and then I can tell you what the problem is. So we've got the textbook assignment. I also included a little article and a video showing you how to save your site in the FileZilla. Because some students don't use Quick Connect, or they just wanted a different way of saving. You can actually save it so that you can click up here and click where you want to go, and it'll directly connect you. So there is a way to save your site in the site manager, and that is what the article and the video show you how to do. Then we get into, let's see, our textbook assignment, or our, excuse me, lab assignment. The lab assignment has a couple different parts. The first part, you are going to create a brand new page using HTML5, graphics, and links. And so you can choose any content that you want. You just need to make sure that you're following NMC's Title IX guidelines and the Student Code of Conduct. So if you're not familiar with those, make sure you take a look so you're not violating any of that. And for the graphics, you want to use royalty-free graphics, and I will show you some resources I added for that in a minute. But as far as what the page is going to contain, is you're going to have some kind of theme. I did one on tigers or big cats. And so I've got 3 different big cats. If you click, it expands. So this is the detail summary. And if you click the graphic, it goes to a web optimized graphic. Okay, so there's a thumbnail linking to a web optimized graphic. And then for the text, I basically copied this from the World Wildlife Association. And so that is fine. If you want to copy text, you need to put it in quotes, and then you also need to cite it. Okay, or you can put your own text, does not matter to me. This is what the code looks like that I used to create that. Here's something entirely different. I did one on bridges. So here is Brooklyn Bridge. And again, I went ahead and copied the text and cited it. And that takes to a larger picture. Okay, and then this is what the entire big cat page looks like. Okay, and then if you wanted to see it live, I did include a live version. So that is the first part of the assignment. So again, you guys can choose anything you want, anything you're interested in. And then you're going to be updating your assignment page with the links. And so this is lesson 3. You're going to add the files from that to the textbook assignment section. And then in the lab assignment section, you're going to be adding your big cats there. Once you have the text in, you are going to be converting it to hyperlinks. So this is an example of what the hyperlinks might look like. But again, if you named your folders different than mine, or if you named your files different than mine, you need to match how you named them. Once you have the links in there, you are going to add a graphic to the background of your page. The graphics at this free PowerPoint background site work great. So you can use that, or if you have an image that you want to use, that's fine too. So I've got this link. Okay, and so if you find a graphic that you like, and you'll notice that they have graphics in all sorts of different colors. Okay, and when you first come out here, the graphics are going to be smaller. And then if you click, you can actually get to the larger graphic. And let's see. And then you should be able to save the image. It looks like there's a couple different ones. Okay, but there is a video that kind of walks you through how to do that. Okay, so you're going to pick some kind of a graphic, and then you're going to put that in the background of your page. And so to do that, here is the body tag. This is the body tag that is in your assignment page. You're going to add some CSS, and this is the CSS that you are going to be adding. Okay, so you could actually copy all of that and paste it right in, because it should be similar, especially if you called the graphic background.jpg. Okay, if you called it something else, you'll have to adjust the name. This is kind of what it's going to look like. And then you will be transferring everything up to the web. Okay, and I have videos in all of these sections that basically explain to you what you need to be doing. And then the grading rubric is at the bottom. Now, as far as where you can get graphics from, I like Pixabay. I use it all the time. Creative Commons is also good. These are all royalty free. Pixels is also a free one. Lunapic also has some free graphics that you can use there as well. But I really like Pixabay. So if I was interested in like waterfalls or something like that, you can see there's beautiful graphics. You just need to make sure when you click on this, okay, that it is free to use. So it says free for commercial use, no attribution required. That's important. That means you do not have to pay. And then you can download. Now, if you come over here and you like some of these are usually ones that you have to pay for, just so you know. They try to sneak those in. See, it says sponsored images iStock. So if it says iStock, okay, so this is still free. But if it says that it's from iStock, like this one, that's not free. So just be a little careful when you're doing that. If you run into problems or if you have questions, please let me know. I did do a video that explains common problems and how to fix them. So please look at that because these are problems that I see every single semester. And if you need help, make sure you transfer your pages. and then send me an email. But I do need to see your pages on the internet in order to tell you what the problem is. And again, you've got 2 weeks. Do not wait until the last minute to do this assignment because you will not get it done. Have a great couple weeks and let me know if you have any questions.